While
And where does absorption and assimilation takes place? Umbilical part? Do you know what is umbilical?
yes, ma'am. If I uh, nine part of the abdomen is middle part is called umbilical.
So, so in anatomical position of digestive system, where does umbilical part takes place? So it is only small intestine. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So let's start for today's session. Where we have left yesterday.
Ma'am, we completed that. Today we will continue from trachea, nose, pharynx, larynx. These all are completed. We will start from
Yes.
trachea.
We have completed larynx yesterday, right? So let me share my screen. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, ma'am.
So today we will start from trachea. So trachea is known as windpipe, 10 to 12 semi-long tube-like structure within neck and upper chest. Connects larynx with bronchi. Bronchi are the divisions of trachea. You can see here two bronchs are present. Divisions of trachea are known as bronchi. Connects larynx with bronchi, supported by C-shaped incomplete cartilaginous rings. Okay, so let me take the pencil. Yes, here you can see throughout the trachea. Here, these, these, these. These all are cartilages. These all are cartilages. And the main thing about these are they are not completely round. Means they are not covering the back side also. They are only covering the front side. So you can say that these cartilages are not ring shaped. They are C shaped cartilages. Means they are open at the back side. And why they are C shaped? Can you please tell me? Means with your common sense, or if you know why these cartilages are C shaped?
Maybe to allow expansion of muscles.
Mm. And why these cartilages are present here? Yes.
Ma'am, for reducing the friction.
No. Okay. You have tried well. So the number of cartilages rings are 16 to 20 almost. So these cartilages are present in trachea to prevent, means if these cartilages will not be there, then trachea may collapse with esophagus, because uh, they are very close. Esophagus and trachea, they are very close. So trachea may collapse with esophagus. Or when we are eating, just for example, let's assume that you are eating something heavy, and at that time the bolus is going through esophagus, and it may collapse the windpipe or trachea. So it will be difficult to breathe at that time. That is why the C-shaped cartilages are present in trachea for preventing collapse, so that we can breathe properly with proper pathway. Otherwise, esophagus may collapse trachea. Its trachea will not have space for breathing. Okay. So trachea divides into two smaller tubes called bronchi at the level of fifth thoracic vertebrae, lined with ciliated stratified epithelial tissue. Okay. So trachea is further divided into two bronchi at the level of fifth thoracic vertebrae. Now you can understand where the trachea is dividing. It is dividing at the fifth thoracic vertebrae, and this trachea and bronchi is lined with ciliated stratified epithelial tissue. Expel mucus loaded with dust and microorganisms away from lungs. So anything unwanted, if enters in the windpipe or the pathway of air, then it produces either it produces mucus, or it will cough out, means it will expel out the unwanted material if by chance entered in the windpipe. This is the very beautiful mechanism of body. Anything unwanted, if anything unwanted is present in body will refuse itself. Okay. And it is very very rigorous in case of respiratory system. So either they will produce mucus, and with mucus it will come out, or they will cough out. So it transports air to and from the lungs when breathing. To and from means we inhale the air and exhale the air. So to and from means also going in and coming out. Next is bronchi. Bronchi are the airways that lead from the trachea into lungs. Okay. So bronchi are the airways which is continuing from trachea to lungs. Trachea divides into two smaller tubes called bronchi at the level of fifth thoracic vertebrae, First bronchi to branch from the trachea are right bronchus and left bronchus, known as primary bronchi. Okay, so these two main bronchi are known as primary bronchi, and they are then further divided into many branches. Right primary bronchus goes into right lung, and left primary bronchus goes into left lung. Right primary bronchus is shorter and wider than left primary bronchus. Left primary bronchus is longer and narrower than right primary bronchus. Okay, you can see in this picture too. I have already told you, in anatomical position, it is, the picture is mirror viewed. Okay, so this is the right side and this is the left side. Okay, so this portion is right side and this is left side. So you can see here in this picture that right primary bronchus is wider and shorter. You can see here it is up, it is divided here, and right primary bronchus is up to here only, here only. But left primary bronchus is from here to here. It is long and narrow, but right one is short and wider. So yes, on entering lungs, right primary bronchus divided into 3 branches in right lungs. And on entering lungs, left primary bronchus divided into 2 branches in left lungs. So why this is? Because lungs, means our right lung is having 3 lobes. Our right lung is divided into 3 lobes, and left lung is divided by 2 lobes. That is why right primary bronchus is dividing into 3 branches, and left primary bronchus is divided into 2 branches. And can you please tell me why this difference? Right lung is having 3 lobes and left lung is having 2 lobes. Why this is so?
On the left side, we have heart, which is taking space.
Yes, very good. So heart is present at the middle only, but it is tilted towards left. Okay, so it's taking a bit of space. That is why left lung is having 2 lobes and right lung is having 3 lobes. And mhm, and these bronchi means primary bronchus are further divided into different lobes. So right primary bronchus divided into 3 branches for 3 lobes, and left primary bronchus divided into 2 for 2 lobes. Next is secondary bronchi divide into tertiary bronchi. Okay, you can see here in this picture how they are branched like a tree. So you can see here, this is trachea, this is bronchi, this is left bronchi. They are being divided into 3, 1, 2. Let's take a look. So one secondary bronchi, second secondary bronchi, and third secondary bronchi for left lung, and one secondary bronchi and 2 secondary bronchi for right lung, sorry, left lung. So they are further divided into, you can see here, these further division Let's take these lower lobe bronchi of right lung. So these bronchi, this secondary bronchi, this portion is secondary bronchi. So this portion is further divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So they are further divided into tertiary bronchi. So they are branched like a tree. Next is bronchioles. The tertiary bronchi branch into bronchioles. No cartilage made up of smooth muscles. Here we cannot find any cartilage. So these bronchioles are made up of only smooth muscles. The final branches of bronchioles are called terminal bronchioles. Okay. The final branches of bronchioles, after which no further division is taking place, that is known as terminal bronchioles. Terminal bronchioles give rise to respiratory bronchioles, which ultimately lead to alveoli. Okay. So the final portion is alveoli. Alveoli is the last portion of these divisions. And we have discussed yesterday that how alveoli look like, and this in this picture you can also see how alveoli look like when they are branched together. You can see here in this picture terminal bronchiole, and then terminal bronchiole is further divided into collection of alveoli. Terminal bronchiole is further divided into respiratory bronchiole, and respiratory bronchiole finally turning out into alveoli. They are as many as 30,000 tiny bronchioles in each lung. Okay, 30,000 tiny bronchioles in each lung. And function of these bronchioles is to deliver air to sacs called alveoli. Obviously, it will pass the air from tertiary bronchiole to alveoli. Means, yes. Next is alveoli. Alveoli are an important part of respiratory system. Alveoli are branches of balloon-like air sacs inside the lungs, located at the end of bronchial tubes. The alveoli are covered in capillaries or blood vessels. The smallest division of blood vessels are known as capillaries. I hope you know the concept of capillaries. Finer, minute division of blood vessels are known as capillaries. So the alveoli are covered with capillaries. You can see here in this picture how capillaries depicted by red and blue, red for oxygenated and blue for deoxygenated, as part of artery and vein. So red and blue alveoli is covering, sorry, red and blue capillaries are covering alveoli. You can see here in this picture how alveoli is covered by capillaries. Then yes, alveoli are covered with capillaries lined with simple squamous epithelial tissue. So alveoli are lined with simple squamous epithelial tissue. Till now, we have seen that the lining was done by ciliated, either ciliated stratified or ciliated columnar, because cilia was necessary in the pathway. Now here you can see alveoli are made up of simple squamous epithelial tissue. The exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide takes place in alveoli only. Gases can pass through the thin walls of each alveoli and capillary. Alveoli sac branches of balloon-shaped structure called alveoli means uh, yes, these are the branches of balloon sac structure means a singular form or a particular sac is known as alveolus, and when it is plural, when they are grouped together and then they are called alveoli. Okay. These things you can see so many times in anatomy. When it is singular, it is something different like alveolus, and when it is plural, it is alveoli, like villus and villi. Some so many examples are there for this. Okay. So, number of alveoli present in lungs are almost 300 to 400 million. Okay, 300 to 400 millions of alveoli are present in lungs. Now, lungs. So the lungs are located in the chest on either side of the heart. Lungs are a pair of spongy air-filled organs in the thoracic cavity. Each lung is located on triangular structure. Each lung is covered by pleura. Pleura is the covering sheath for lungs. Okay, it's a transparent covering sheath for lungs known as pleura. Apex is near clavicle. Here you can see the picture of lungs. The apex of lungs are near clavicle. I hope you understand what is clavicle, the bone or beauty bone. We have already studied in skeletal system. Then base of lungs rest on diaphragm. And diaphragm is the skeletal muscle we have already studied in muscular system. So apex is near clavicle and base is near diaphragm. Each lung is divided into lobes by fissures. So the divisions or the linings of divisions are known as fissures. Okay, you can see in this picture, the right lung is having 3 lobes and 2 fissures. Linings of divisions are known as fissures. So, three lobes and 2 fissures: superior lobe, middle lobe, and inferior lobe. And the left lung is divided into 2 lobes, superior lobe and inferior lobe, and it is lined by only one fissure, that is oblique fissure. So here is a small difference between two lungs. Right lung is shorter, left lung is longer. Right lung is wider, left lung is narrower. Right lung is having 3 lobes, left is having 2. Right is having oblique and horizontal fissures as it is divided into 3 lobes, so 2 fissures. And left lung is having only one fissure. And cardiac notch is absent in right lung, obviously. Here, uh, this is the cardiac notch, which is present in left lung only. This is not present in right lung. Okay, so it is absent in right lung, which is present in left lung. Now, muscle of breathing. So, should we continue? Will it be okay with all of you, or it will be overloaded?
Yes,
We
ma'am.
can do so.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. We can continue.
Okay. So muscles of breathing. At first, intercostal muscles. So intercostal muscles are 11 pairs of intercostal muscles we can find in space between 12 pairs of ribs. So intercostal muscles are the muscles present in between ribs. Okay, so there are 11 pairs and arranged in two layers: internal intercostal muscles and external intercostal muscles. Okay, means at the inner side of rib cage, means which is more close to lungs, that in that side it is in internal intercostal muscle, and at the outer side of rib cage it is external intercostal muscles. Okay, here in this picture you can see the sternum, ribs, and intercostal muscles, how they are present. Next is diaphragm. We have already studied what is diaphragm, and here in this picture you can see clearly how intercostal muscles are arranged in layers, right? They are having their own layer, as internal intercostal muscle is having inner layer and external intercostal muscle is having outer layer. And this picture is of diaphragm. I hope you can identify this diaphragm. It is dome shaped muscular structure separating thoracic and abdominal cavity, and we have studied diaphragm detail in muscular system. Now, mechanism of respiration. Respiration depends upon changes in pressure and volume in the thoracic cavity. Okay, so respiration will depend upon the changes in pressure and volume thoracic cavity. Volume changes lead to pressure changes, which lead to flow of gases to equalize pressure. Respiration involves two main processes. Those are inspiration and expiration. These are very simple concepts we all know. Next is inspiration, flow of air into lungs, or inhaling or breathing in. The external intercostal muscles between ribs contract, pulling the chest walls up and out. Okay, so this is the point we have to understand, that when we are inhaling, our external intercostal muscles are contracting, and here in this picture you can see clearly, when we are inhaling, the rib cage is expanding and external intercostal muscles are contracting. And when we are exhaling, the rib cages are also contracting. Now, you should raise a question here: why? Means rib cage is made up of bones, so how they can expand and contract, right? Yes, tell me. Diaphragm is the muscular structure, so it will obviously expand and contract. Diaphragm contracts during inhalation and expand during exhalation, as lungs expand in inhalation. But how rib cages can expand and contract?
Ribcage having cartilage, that's why.
Yes, very good. So rib cage is joining with sternum with hyaline cartilage. So these cartilages are soft connective tissue. So they are allowing the movement. Okay. Very good. Diaphragm muscle below the lungs contract and flatten, increase the size of chest. Yes, when we are inhaling, diaphragm is contracting and being flattened by the pressure of lungs, and the lungs increase in size, so the pressure inside them falls. This causes air to rush in through the nose or mouth. Now what happens in expiration? Air leaves the lung, exhaling the air, and when breathe out, the external intercostal muscles between ribs relax so that chest walls move in and down. Okay, so when you're breathing out, external intercostal muscles relaxing. The diaphragm muscles below the lungs relax and bulges up. So here in this picture, we have already seen how diaphragm means the left side picture is the inhalation picture already mentioned here, and the right side picture is during the exhalation. So here you can see the difference between two, that how during inhalation our ribs and lungs and the whole chest is expanded, and the side muscles or surrounding things are getting contracted, like diaphragm, like external intercostal muscles, like neck muscles are getting contracted. But during exhalation, they all are getting relaxed. Diaphragm get relaxed and it came in on its own shape. External intercostal muscles relaxed, neck muscle relaxed, and ribs also contracted. So the lungs decrease in size, so the pressure inside increases and air is pushed up the trachea and out through the nose or mouth. Now, control of respiration. Effective control of respiration normally involuntary. Okay, as we everyone can feel that we cannot control the respiration throughout the day, and if we are able to do so, then we are Siddha Yogi. Only yogi can do so. He or she can only control the respiration throughout the day. Otherwise, for doing pranayam for only 10 minutes, we are okay. Oh, we have done 10 minutes pranayam today, we have achieved something. So it's we are bad. If we are doing pranayam 10 minutes within 24 hours, then we are very, very happy. We have controlled our respiration for 10 minutes. So for our 23-hour, 50 minutes, we are not. So in that case, it is involuntary only. We are not voluntarily monitoring. So how does those portions are getting monitored? Even who came in the field of yoga, those people only do pranayam. Otherwise, people don't do pranayam at all. Only their function is involuntary only, but there is an option for voluntary monitoring. So we should think a lot, like everything is involuntary, we cannot control. But why this process only left by God for letting to control? Because there is a treasure in this technique of voluntary controlling respiratory system. And these treasures we can find in ancient yogic texts. So these are the topics of research. New researchers can find out what are those treasures. Okay, if we can find out those treasures and we can um, mm, make those techniques for kind, then maybe the world something, or at least I myself, every individual himself or herself by his or her own can become something else if we are regularly practicing pranayama. So yes, if we are not controlling respiratory system, it is if it is voluntary throughout the day, then who is controlling? Obviously, our nervous system is controlling whole body. So nervous system is also controlling the respiratory system too. Three respiratory control centers known as rhythmicity center. Inspiratory center located at medulla oblongata, expiratory center located at medulla oblongata, and pneumotaxic center located on pons for long and deep breaths. Okay, so inspiration and expiration is controlled by medulla oblongata. So medulla oblongata is a part of our brain stem. We will read during nervous system, and pneumotaxic center, which is controlling our deep and long breathing, means mainly the speed of breathing, that is located in pons. So if you have if you know what is pons, medulla oblongata, and cerebrum, cerebral, all these parts of brain, then I hope you understand. Otherwise we will study all these portions in nervous system. So what are the chemical control? Two chemical chemosensitive bodies are there, that is carotid body at the base of carotid sinus and aortic body at the base of aorta. So carotid body and aortic bodies are more sensitive to carbon dioxide. When carbon dioxide increases, stimulation of carotid and aortic body to stimulated expiratory muscles move of CO2 to get exhaled. Okay, so this carotid body and aortic body are more sensitive to carbon dioxide. So when carbon dioxide is getting reached, or they are filled with carbon dioxide, they are more sensitive to expel those. Right? Means you can feel that when we are doing kumbhak, when we are performing kumbhak, at that time you feel more eager to expel the uh, the air inside you. So that is the most sensitiveness of carotid body and aortic body towards carbon dioxide. Now, capacities and volumes of air in the lungs. So I think this will be a bit uh, overeating for the day if I go for the formulas. Okay, these are some formulas. I think we should do it tomorrow. Otherwise, it will be overeating for today. So I think we should wind up the class.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Any question? Any doubt? Any confusion? So I think we should wind up the class for today. Okay. So sit comfortably, upright your spine, close your eyes, inhale deep, completely. Adapt Namaskar Mudra in front of your chest. And inhale deep and start the prayer. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Now rub your palms. Put those palms on your facial muscles. Feel the warmth. Feel the energy. And open your eyes with a beautiful smile on your face. Start the day with great enthusiasm. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.